Fellas, I'll tell you what, if this Brooks news coming back to the PGA does not get you amped for the PGA season, I do not know what will. We are finally here, the 2026 PGA season, and it is starting off with an absolute banger. I mean, this live news, the Brooks news, flipping the golf world like landscape completely on its head. We could see Rahm, we could see Bryson, we could see Cam Smith come back with Brooks. Who knows? There's a lot to come in the coming weeks, but for right now, it's the start of the season, the Sony Open. For those who don't know me, my name is Kyle. I'm the founder of Tap in Fantasy. Our goal is to bring every fantasy golf game to one platform. This year is going to be tiers, budget, and content, and then maybe analytics platform. Not 100% sure. We're going to optimize throughout the season. Can get our community input, make sure we put out the best product possible. So for the 2027 season, not only can we have that tiers, budget, analytics, content, but we're also going to have one done traditional fantasy and drafts, really covering every base. Again, make sure you follow us on our socials, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be linked below. But I'm too amped. Let's just jump right into the Sony Open. Let's do it. Let's go. Come on. All right, it is Sony Open time. We are at Waialae Country Club. This is going to be in Hawaii, all right? And honestly, it could be the last time we play here. Who knows? There's a lot of big-time schedule changes coming up. So this could be the last time we see the Sony Open. But either way, we're at Waialae Country Club. This week we have 120 golfers. It's going to be top 65 and ties make the cut on Friday. It is par 70. There are going to be 12 par 4s, 4 par 3s, and 2 par 5s. It's a little over 7,000 yards, which is fairly short. And we've got some bent grass Bermuda greens. Now, when we start off every single week, the first thing we're always going to look at is weather. Now, we used to use windy.com. They got really complicated on me. I don't know why. Maybe it'll come back, beats me, but either way, we're over at Windfinder, and I think this is just fine enough. So for those that are kind of new to how the PGA works, it is one of the few DFS sports or betting sports where it is crucially important that you make sure you are keeping up with the weather. So what do we mean by keeping up with the weather? Now, this isn't just, is it going to be raining? Is it going to be sunny? All that kind of stuff. But typically how a PGA Tour event goes, I'd say about 60% are going to go this way, is that golfers are going to go out in two waves. It's going to be the AM wave and the PM wave. And golfers will kind of stagger themselves throughout that wave, and it's about a 4-hour, I want to say, wave difference. All right? So you might have guys go out in the morning on Thursday and then go out in the evening on Friday, which means the other wave, the PM wave, will go out in the afternoon on Friday, but then on Thursday, and then in the morning they'll go out on Friday. So it completely flips, and you can see, it doesn't happen all the time, but you can see every once in a while a big weather advantage, and it usually comes in the form of the wind. All right. What that would look like is if in the morning on Thursday we are projected from, like, let's say 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., we're projected for 30-mile-an-hour winds with 40-mile-an-hour gusts, no rain or thunderstorms to possibly have a stoppage in play, and then say it's going to die down around 12 o'clock, and then we're going to see just like this normal 12-mile-an-hour winds, maybe 15 gusts, which leads into Friday, and then it picks back up again, say, Friday at around 12, and it's going to be 25, 30 miles an hour. With that, we would have a significant weather advantage for the Thursday PM, Friday AM field. All right, so those golfers that are playing in that allotted amount of time, and those waves are going to have a much higher advantage. The scoring averages are going to be much lower for that those groupings compared to the flip side of the Thursday AM, Friday PM groups. That's getting very technical. Again, I pretty much could just say you've got wind or you've got significant rain for one wave compared to the other, but I digress. I'd rather get into it for those that are new. Again, it's the beginning of the season, so kind of dive into everything we possibly can. So I've pulled up the weather map for Waialae Country Club, or as close as we possibly can get. So we're at Waialae Beach Park, those stations. And let's just go ahead and scroll down. So again, it's Monday the 12th. We need to look at, I think they go off, I want to say later in the day. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to kind of look across the board. But so Thursday, it's looking fairly tame. All right, 2 a.m. to 11 p.m. I mean, nothing crazy. Temperatures are pretty solid. We're not seeing any rain. So for Thursday, I don't think the AM or the PM is going to have much of an advantage at all. Friday, it's looking about the same, and this is definitely going to change. So we will give an update Wednesday evening just to kind of break down exactly what it's looking like, because this could completely flip on its head on a dime. And Friday, again, it's looking a lot of the same. I mean, you have a little bit more wind. Don't get me wrong, but it's also like even across the board. So I wouldn't say this week we're seeing much currently, and again, there's no rain either. I would say there's not much of a advantage that I'm seeing, but that isn't to say it could change. And typically, again, for those that are new, you're really only looking at Thursday and Friday, because those are going to be the groupings and the tee times that we know are set in stone. Those are the ones that are going to be released usually Tuesday evenings, so that we know exactly like who is playing when. Saturday it's going to change, because somebody in one wave might play really well. They might barely make the cut, and so they're going to be playing at completely different times. So yeah, I'm not really seeing much at all with the weather. Saturday's looking a little bit different. No, Saturday's looking just about the same. So I mean, this is really setting up. We could see some serious scoring. The temperatures are going to be pretty solid across the board. Wind's going to be pretty solid across the board. Everybody's going to be playing with similar conditions. Fair conditions. Again, they are playing on the coast, so you will see some gusts that really take it up a notch every once in a while, but I don't think it'll be anything crazy. So again, just be on the lookout. Wednesday evenings, we will drop a weather update on all our socials. Just again, follow us, keep up to date with that. But right now, I'm not seeing much of anything. All right, so now that we've covered weather, the next thing we're going to look at is, again, going to be the data, the science behind what a golf course is looking for out of a golfer, and then what golfers are coming in strong form with those prerequisites to have a good week. And so what we're basically going to make is what we call a custom model, a course fit model. It's kind of one and the same, but some people might say otherwise. So for this week, when we were talking Waialae Country Club, accuracy over distance is going to be incredibly important. If you are missing the fairway off the tee, there is a much stronger or much higher penalty compared to that of a PGA average. So accuracy over distance. Putting is almost always going to be important, but this week is incredibly important. Almost every winner for the last, I want to say, like 10 years has been like top 10 strokes gained putting for the week. So again, you either want a strong putter coming in, or somebody's got to run a hot putter. Next thing is greens and regulations going to be an absolute must. It's like for Waialae, I think like 64% of shots or holes golfers find a green regulation, and the tour average is like 48%. So if you're not keeping up, you're absolutely going to be screwed. And then finally, par 5 scoring. Almost every hole is either even par, slightly above, or slightly below. But the 2 par 5s are well over half a stroke under par. So if you are not doing well there, you're going to fall behind really quick. I think it was last year, Nick Taylor, 2 par 5s, 4 rounds, so 8 possible birdies. He was 8 under. And I think he had an eagle there. Yeah, he did to actually make the playoff. He holed out 4 eagle to tie Nico and then go on to win in the playoffs. So it is incredibly important that you're scoring on those par 5s. And then course history. Waialae typically has a pretty sticky course history. Guys that have done well in the past here typically do well. Guys that typically play well in kind of, beachy vibes, coastal type courses typically do well here. Again, it's quite sticky. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a custom model kind of using those ideas. And I'm going to kind of change up what I had previously. So what we're going to start off with, this field is it's all over the place. We got some great golfers. We got some middling golfers. We got some guys that are just now making it through the Corn Ferry Tour promotion, the DP World Tour promotion, all that kind of stuff. So it's all over the place. So I'm going to be using the weighted strokes gained because it is important to kind of look at some of these higher-end PGA Tour guys. The last, I think I'm doing 30 rounds. Yep, the most recent 30 rounds. You're going to end up looking at, like, they were playing in the Tour Championship in a much, much stronger field. So I think it is important, if they were doing well in certain categories, they should get the benefit of the doubt there versus some of these guys that we're playing a lot of the swing season, a lot of the off season events against really weak fields, so their strokes gain numbers are very much elevated compared to the stronger top end golfers. So that's why I'm using weighted strokes gained. And again, I'm going to flip this right here from weighted strokes gained total because I think across the board, if you're not scoring in everything, you're not going to do well. I'm going to put that 10 on approach because, again, if you are not sticking those greens, like I said, and getting that greens in regulation, you're going to struggle big time. And then weighted strokes gained putting. I think you need to be a fairly solid putter or you're going to fall behind. I think it's only 3 out of the last 10 that came in as poor putters and just ran hot putting. So typically you're going to need to be coming in a strong putter, a career good putter, all that kind of stuff. Next thing, again, accuracy over distance, but 15 on accuracy. Approach, again, we've got the greens in regulation here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these 4. I'm going to redistribute them later. So we've got 8 to work with. Again, it is bent grass Bermuda, so I put 4 and 4 on each one of those. We've got, what was the other thing? Oh, yes, hole types, par 5. Like I said, it's very important that you score well in the par 5s, so I put 10 on par 5. And then I think down here I did Waialae for 15, 10, one of those. I did 14. Let's go ahead and make that. No, we'll leave it at 14. And then short course. This is a fairly short course. So now that we have 8 to work with, maybe we'll just go ahead and take that 8 and we will put it on weighted strokes gained total and just kind of see what it spits out. And lo and behold, what I am absolutely shocked by is this right here. Our number 1 golfer is going to be Mac Meisner. That's insane. So first thing I've got to do looking at this is I've got to go look at what has he been up to. So again, 7,500, Mac Meisner. So what type of form is he coming in? T18 the RSM, T27 the Bank of Utah, Bay Currents T27, 14th at the Sanderson, Procure is a 47th, 2nd at Wyndham. He's only played here, the last time he played here was last year, and I think it's the only time he's probably ever played here for a T21. I don't think that's that bad at all. Very, very strong in the greens and regulation. Again, he's going to get the ball there. So is this going to come down to his putting? Probably. And he's an even putter. So he's one. If we can get him running hot with the putter, we could be looking at a really good week for Mac Meisner. And again, approach looking really solid. He's just green across the board right now. These numbers are looking excellent. I'm not going to dive into him too much, but just kind of going down the list, looking at guys that are where they should be, guys that are way above or way below where they should be. So again, looking at Griot looks way out of place. I'm not surprised by Henley. Again, he is great on approach, very accurate driver. He's a fairly solid putter. So I think across the board, like he's going to be one of the payoff options I definitely go to. There's no doubt in my mind. So, and again, putts well on Bermuda. Got great history at Waialae, great at short courses, kind of fits the mold. Same with Griot. This is kind of another shocking one, very similar to Mac Meisner. So I'm going to go look at what his stats are looking like. Again, he's a good par 5 scorer, very accurate driver of the golf ball. Greens and regulation is very strong, good putter. I mean, his numbers are looking really good. 7,400. Miliana Griot. I mean, he's projecting very well. Again, accuracy strong. We aren't really caring as much about distance. So again, it's kind of all over the place here. Again, he missed the cut at Sanderson. Bank of Utah, he withdrew. That's kind of an interesting. I wonder why. T4 at the Procure is definitely something. Again, the St. Jude Championship T50. I think is that dead last? I think that is dead last. That's not really the best. So he might be kind of fool's gold a little bit. I wish he was coming in better form. But either way, kind of going back down the list. Like Ben Griffin's kind of where you want him to be. We've got Zach Johnson and Austin Eckroat. I always love Austin Eckroat. That's one I'm definitely going to be interested in. Kirk is up there. Denny's up there. Rico, Aaron Rai. Some of these guys I'm not surprised at all are kind of popping up. Collins up there, but I wish he was a little bit higher. Maverick. Who's another guy that's kind of like, let's go find guys that are like lower than they should be. And I would say one is definitely going to be Hideki. And I'm going to assume it's based off of the putting. Yeah, he's not the best putter in the world. Everything else is kind of fine. Greens regulation. Again, that's going to be tough. If he's going to kind of struggle on bent grass in Bermuda, not find the greens. He could be in for a slow week, but he has won here in the past, so that's interesting. No, and it's not going to save it. Did it? It did. Holy cow, we got lucky, fellas. We got real lucky. Um, yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. And so now what I'm going to do is we're going to kind of look at the different salary buckets, find some guys that are popping for the right reason. In comparison to the guys around them, I wish we had projected ownership. I think this year I'm really going to focus on just the data. Like, let's put ownership aside and maybe use that on Wednesday as like if we've got two guys we really like, we'll just pick the one that's low round. But for right now, let's just go ahead and sort by salary and kind of see where things are falling into place. So again, two guys in the 10K range. We've got Russell Henley and Ben Griffin. I think both of them are extremely deserving. I think both of them fit the mold for this golf course. I'm a little scared of Ben Griffin's accuracy in the greens and regulation numbers, but everything else kind of follows in place. Likewise for Russell Henley, I'm kind of shocked the greens and regulation number isn't higher, given how accurate he is and how strong of an approach player he is. That kind of doesn't add up. But everything else is fine. So I have no issues with going with either one of them. If there is a guy up here, if I'm going to have to pick one, I'm probably going to go Henley, just because he's a more accurate driver. But again, flip a coin. And I think there's enough value down the board that you can get up to these guys very easily with no issues at all. Now, we've already talked about Hideki, but Colin being 98, I'm expecting him to have a very strong bounce back season. I remember last year he started out fairly hot. I'm interested to see if he can start out hot again this year. I'm going to kind of go up here because I do want to look at, again, recent form and that kind of stuff and course history. He's never played here. What? I thought he's played here before. Guess I'm wrong. So, again, he's coming in. Again, T14, the Bay Current. It's not half bad. Ryder Cup, we can kind of disregard. Pro Cure, Tour Championship, he did fine. That's out of 30 golfers. He really didn't do all the best in the playoffs. He's won, and again, I should have actually started out the video by saying this. Like, we can take a lot of this with a grain of salt. Like, there are a lot of these guys that have not played in a very long time. They're going to be using this as kind of a warm-up. And I think that could be Colin. I love Colin for this year. I don't know if this is exactly the best tournament for him, just because the par 5 scoring and the putting is going to be something that he struggled with last year. I mean, that was kind of his big issue, is he could not putt the ball. So I'm very interested to see how he can bounce back. And then same with Hideki. I don't know if I'm going to get there. The numbers really aren't adding up. Same as Bobby Mack. Now, JJ Spawn, he's just a grinder. Again, he's first in the field in approach, so that's always going to have my interest. He's a fairly accurate driver of the golf ball. He finds greens and regulation. I think the putting and the par 5 is going to be the biggest issue for him. But again, I think you do have to go to guys up here, and if he has my interest just because of the approach and the driving accuracy. Now, going down the list, Siwoo has had, again, an incredible offseason. I think he can carry that into this tournament for sure. Keegan hasn't. I don't think Keegan's played all that much, if I'm being quite honest. What have you been up to, Keegan, since? All right, 13th of the Hero World Challenge, thinks out of 20 golfers, not the best. T7 of the Tour Championship. So outside of those two events, again, they're very small fields. He hasn't really been doing much. Again, the Ryder Cup loss might be kind of lingering over his head. He might be angry out for blood. So we never know. But he's one. I don't know if I'm going to get there. I think he projects very well. So if you're going to run on projections, which I don't for PGA, I think he probably is going to pop up in a lot of lineups, and then in return, his ownership's probably going to be inflated. But no, I mean, he's okay in the field on approach. He's not really the best at driving accuracy or par 5 scoring. The greens and regulation number is concerning. Again, I'm really going to be looking at greens and regulation this week. I think this could go very low with what the weather's looking like. So if you're not really up there in that category, I'm going to be iffy towards wanting to go to you. And really, the only guy that is up there right now is JJ Spawn. Everybody else is kind of middling comparative to the field. So I'm okay with Spawn, and I think that's about it. Okay, Mav, the numbers are really shaping up for him. Stroke gained total is very, very solid. Again, he's not an accurate driver, and he doesn't find the greens. That's going to be a big problem for me. No, I don't think I'm going to get to him, even though he scores well. I think those two things are going to hold me back. Harry Hall, I'm always a big fan of Harry Hall. I do not care that he's not popping in the model all that much. He's a great putter. Driving accuracy, actually, I don't know. I take back what I said. Accuracy and greens regulation numbers are going to be very much an issue. So, what has he been up to? He's probably been playing overseas quite a bit. He missed the cut in his last event. I don't know. I don't know if I can get there. Everything before was pretty solid. But again, I really wasn't playing all that much. Again, played the PGA Championship in Europe, and then missed the cut at the Open de France. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to get there with Harry. And then Nick Taylor, he won here last year. I think he's one of those guys that I don't want to chase after a win at a specific event. But kind of across the board, I mean, he's okay. I think 9K. If we're going to wrap up the 9K, 10K range, the guys I'm going to be going to is probably going to be Henley and Ben Griffin. I think they're, with where their games are at right now, they're just a step above the other guys. There's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of, they could just be coming into, treat this as a warm-up, or they just don't really fit the course all that well. So I'll probably go to Russell Henley and Ben Griffin and get down to, again, when we score by score. There's a lot of guys in the 7, 6K range up here that we can go to. The 8K range looks like it's completely loaded, which is what we're going to get into right now. All right, looking at the 8K range, I'm just going to kind of cherry pick now for guys that I'm a big fan of, either for this course or for the season in general. Chris Kirk, he is very good in strokes gained total. He is fairly solid in the field in greens and regulation. He might not be the most accurate driver in the world, but again, he does some of the things that we really want well, and he's pretty solid at Waialae. So I'm a big fan of Chris Kirk this week, and the numbers kind of back that up. Corey Connors, he might not model as well, and the putter is always a massive issue. But if he can run hot with the putter, which I think he typically does at Waialae. Yeah, he typically plays Waialae fairly well. Where are you, Corey? Okay, well, he missed the cut last year, so that's what the heck am I talking about? And then T57. But 2023 and 2022, 12th and 11th, that's really not all that bad. I have a strong outlook for Corey Connors on the season if he can turn around his putting. But if not, he could be in for a very similar Corey Connors season. And then the par 5 scoring is kind of an issue. So maybe I'm just talking about him as a season long, but I do have some interest in Corey Connors. Who is it? Aaron Rye. This guy is Mr. Accurate, so that's exactly what you're looking for. Like, he's going to put it in the fairway, and he's going to have looks at the green. He converts those looks into greens in regulation. His issue is similar to a lot of these guys. He cannot putt. But let's say he runs hot with the putter. Let's see what is his history here. Not the best. I don't know. He's one that I have a lot of interest in just for his accuracy and green regulation number. But putting might hold him back, and he's a strong approach guy. Rico Hoy is another one where, again, his approach game is great. Great in par 5 scoring. He's fairly accurate driver. He's greens and regulations up there. If he can just put it all together, I think he's in for a very, very strong season. Next up in this bucket is Denny McCarthy. Great putter. You always know he's going to show up and putt fairly well. And he's 10th in this field over the last 30 in approach, which is fairly strong. And everything else is fairly good. Again, putts on these surfaces well. He's pretty decent at Waialae. Just want to double check. Again, he's T16, T24, T32. It's progressively getting better, so maybe we'll see a top 10. And then the next guy I was going to talk to, I might as well not flip to another page, is going to be Nicholas Echeverria. Now, earlier in the video, I kind of talked about we like looking for guys that are good at these resort coastal courses. That is Nicholas Echeverria's game. Like, this guy lives for playing at a coastal course and doing well at coastal courses. So, which is exactly what Waialae is. Um, he again has good history here. Putts well in Bermuda. Par 5 scoring solid. He's a good putter. I mean, all of this screams he's in for a very um, strong finish this week. Now, Johnny Kiefer, we don't have a lot on him. He's a very young golfer. I think his story was he made he like what did he do? He won like twice in his last. Where is it? RSM Classic T7. Yeah, I think he like won twice on the court or a bunch of times on the Core Fairy Tour. He did very solid for the season there. So again, I have some interest career wise for Johnny Kiefer. I don't know about this week. Eric Cole, the numbers are kind of popping for, but I'm not an Eric Cole guy. I don't think this course is fit for Taylor Pendrith, but I like Taylor Pendrith, his long-term kind of outlook. Good putter, good par 5 scoring, but he's not accurate at all, so this could be a slight problem. I think keep on going. I'm going to play, I don't really need to get into it. Mac Miser, he's going to be all over my lineups. Um, Griot's going to be all over my lineups. I think was it Daniel Berger? I know Pat Mayo's in love with Daniel Berger this year. So I think that's about it for this. I mean, the 7K range, like I'm probably going to get Griot. I'm probably going to get a lot of Mac Miser, and that's going to be about it. So what are some guys if we're deep diving that we might want to look at? Let me unstar some of these guys. I have not done all of my off-season little things. This is crazy. Like, what are we doing? The fall from grace for these guys. Tom Kim as well. Yeah, I'm not seeing much more in the 7K range than I'm really falling in love with. I mean, maybe Seamus. What does Seamus do well at? Yeah, accurate driver, greens and regulation, solid. Same with Lee Hodges. But I like his par 5 scoring a little bit better. History. Webb's got good history here, too. Either way, let's go. Sorry, I'm going to look at Austin Eckroat because clearly the numbers are saying he's in a good spot. So 6,900 Austin Eckroat. All right. Accurate driver of the golf ball. He's very solid greens and regulation. His last 5 starts, RSM Classic, again, made cuts in each of the last 4, T11 at the Pro Cure. Yes, he missed the cut last year, but again, a T42 and a T12 in 24 and 23. It's not half bad. I guess I can get down to it. I can get down to him. Give me some Austin Eckroat. Again, you need a cheap guy because again, if we're gonna pay up for Russell Henley and Ben Griffin or some of those other guys, you're gonna need to find some cheapies. William Mao's another guy that's kind of popping. Again, greens and regulation solid, driving accuracy is fairly solid. Putts well on these surfaces. Doesn't have the best history at Waialae. But I can look past that for 6,900. Same with Doug Gim. Overall in approach and strokes gained total. I mean, he's in the top quarter of the field. Strong par 5 scoring, fairly accurate. Good greens and regulation. Does he putt well on these surfaces? Not at all, but he never putts well in general. Clearly his history at Waialae isn't the best, but that could change. What else could we be looking for? That might be it, folks. That might be it. You can't. I'm not playing Zach Blair. I don't care. Daniel Brown is an interesting one. Long term, but not this week. I'm not playing Zach Johnson. I don't care. Matthew Pavon. Again, he started out, was it 2 years ago, extremely hot, and then fell off the face of the planet. He's accurate, and he hits the greens regulation, so maybe he could back. And he's got good Waialae history. Pavon. T7 in 2024. That is interesting. I've got some interest in Pavon as a bounce back. I have some interest just in this right here for Cam Davis. He's an interesting one because, I want to like him, but man, is he real streaky. The numbers really aren't backing it up. I think that's about it. Again, a fall for grace for Tom Hoagie is crazy. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So again, just kind of a recap for this week. We're looking for accuracy over distance. Putting's going to be very important. Green to regulation is a must. And par 5 scoring, you're going to have to score on those 2 par 5s. So what we're looking for is going to be some of these guys that we're looking at right here. Again, if we're looking for cheapies, I mean, Mac Meisner and Griot I'm going to be going to with 100% certainty. Russell Henley's going to be another one that's kind of an important piece of my lineups if you want to get to Ben Griffin as well. Eckroat I'm always a big fan of, and then I'm probably going to be living in this like 8K low or 8K and 7K range to kind of fill up my lineups. So yeah, now that we're kind of done looking at that, let's look at some bets. I just kind of want to look each week at where there's Sony Open, like where the lines are. Like what are some looks that we could, now that we've kind of talked through this field, like is like Nico Echeverria at 50-1 is a decent shout, but I don't know if it's better than over Denny McCarthy because Denny's a good putter too. Griot at 70, looking at our numbers, maybe Max Meisner. Where's Max? Where's good old Maxie? William Mao's another one popped. I didn't really talk much, but Bud Colley I've got strong interest in this year. Eckroat at 130 isn't a bad shout. I feel like that's way too long. Clearly I missed Mr. Meisner. 65. Yeah, that's low. I don't think I'm going to get to that. But you know what? The numbers back it up, so maybe I will. So, again, guys, like, I'm not going to get to 11-1 Russell Henley, especially in this field. If you're looking at purely, like, the talent versus the actual payout, I'm probably getting to Colin at 20, Keegan at 22. Chris Kirk at 40 is very interesting. Rico Hoey at 45 is interesting. If Spieth didn't spray it off the tee, I'd be much more interested in him. I mean, I'm probably going to go bombs. I'm probably going to bet the bombs. I'll probably go with the deep Denny, deep Nico. I don't want that. Unclick that. I'll go deep on Meisner. I'll go deep on Griot. I'll go real deep on maybe Doug Gimmett at 100. William Mao at 110. Tony Finau. See, that's what's crazy. Again, just kind of looking at this, like Tony Finau, get out of here. Tony Finau having the same betting odds at the Sony Open as Neil Shipley and William Mao and Bud Colley's crazy. Like, you have guys like Patrick Rogers, Chandler Blanchard. He's another one that, like, significant long-term outlook, but just probably not this week. Haotong Li, Jordan Smith are shorter odds than Tony Finau. That's wild. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. I'm so excited for the season. I'm really excited to see what the outlook is for the live stuff, all the Brooks, dropping the bomb today. I think that was absolutely crazy. So I'm so excited for what the season has to offer. Best of luck this week. Comment below. How about this? Go ahead and comment below. What do you think is going to happen with Liv? What do you think is going to happen with Rahm? What do you think is going to happen with Bryson, Cam Smith? Obviously, know with Brooks. Do you think he can get back to being a top 20 golfer? Do you think he can get to the Tour Championship in East Lake just off of one season? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. But again, best of luck this week. I'm excited for the season, and I'm excited for everybody to see what Tap In has to offer for the future. And in coming videos, we will kind of break all that down. But we're not fully ready yet. When we do, I'll let you guys know. But best of luck and have a good one. Peace.